Hey guys, Pren here, video number 2. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. I don't know if I'll get this video out in time. I'm 9 pounds heavier thanks to the holidays, which is awesome. So in this video, I finished welding up the secondary shock hoops. Not actually on the truck yet, but finished welding the where the shock mounts. You have to finish the welding there. They're painted. I ran with whatever paint I had because I was running out of paint, so they're actually orange. We'll see how that looks on the truck. But good news is my little parts area here is getting less and less that's on the floor. So the next thing I'm going to do is drive the bushings into the control arms. And now I think I have to start working on those CV axles and trying to break that C-clip that's in there. And like I had mentioned, I'm going to try using the 20-ton press and see if that does it. And if it doesn't, I don't know yet if I'm going to cut it or what I'm going to do. So we'll see how this goes, part 2. And we keep on trucking over here. All right, guys, thank you. All right, guys, so right now I'm working on the secondary shock hoop. And basically I just bolted this in right now to see where I'm gonna need to mount this down here. So I'm gonna put the other pieces. There's one portion of a tube that goes to the frame rail, and then on the frame rail there's a plate too. Once I get that all aligned, I'm gonna basically mark out where I have to get rid of the factory coating, and then I'm gonna at least tack this to the one tube that goes to the frame rail. I'll have that tacked. I'll pull this off, finish the welding around that area, and then I will weld in that base plate to the frame, and then from there we'll take it to the next step. All right, guys, so same thing, we're just tacking it in. We have it bolted up here just to make sure our shock, secondary shock hoop, everything lines up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish burning this through, and then we'll be done. So we're getting the this tube part that goes to the frame for the secondary shock hoop. We're getting that welded up in the vise. And I think I'm actually gonna wait to put this on the truck when I'm ready to put the shocks on. So right now I'm just gonna pause here, finish welding this, pause here, and then get all the other stuff ready. And then once the shocks are ready to go in, then I'll bolt this up and then do the final weld from this piece to the frame. One thing I forgot to mention, guys, is that you have to finish welding the upper secondary shock mount. It comes from Total Chaos just tack welded, so you have to finish the welds here. I wasn't sure yet if I wanted to do this or if I wanted to do it on the truck, and reason being I do not have secondary shocks yet. I'm still determining if I should do like a smooth body shock or if I should actually do bypasses, because I'm not sure if the smooth body will have any benefit in a secondary position in this setup as much as a bypass would. But I'm also not sure if I want to spend all the loot on like a triple bypass, or this is all overkill anyways, but that's my dilemma right now. So, but I think what I'm gonna do is just measure this out and put like a spacer in there, because one thing I'm concerned with is once I weld these, I don't want them to warp out of shape that I wouldn't be able to get the shock in there. From what Total Chaos's instructions look like, it looks like they at least put a bushing in there from a shock that you know, somebody would put in the secondary position, and I'm assuming it's to hold the spacing open so the heat doesn't distort the metal or the positioning of these tabs. But I'm not a hundo on there yet. But in either case, I'm going to measure this, cut a piece of metal I can stick in there, and then finish the welding here. All right, guys, so I swapped out the hydraulic jack from a 12-ton to a 20-ton, hoping this frame stands up. We've got the CV axle in there. If you remember from the previous video, there was a piece of pipe I was using to smack it. I cut a little piece out there, out of that pipe to put under there. So like, hopefully that's that should be on the star within the axle, which is pretty hard, so it should be fine. And now I'm gonna drive the jack down, and hopefully it'll break that C-clip, but we'll see. So 20-ton did shit. We're gonna cut it. I've had it with this. I'll show you guys what I'm gonna do, and hopefully it'll work, or we're gonna end up having to buy new axles. Sucks. Alright guys, so my plan is to cut it as close as I can with an angle grinder, furthest up on the shaft that I can. And this way then, I'm assuming then I should be able to pivot this so I can get the balls out. There's like ball bearings within here that allow the spin, and I'm hoping that'll allow me to take everything apart, but we'll see. Alright guys, just for a better view, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna cut as deep as possible without damaging anything, in the hopes that that will allow me to turn the star more in order to start removing these I don't know if they're called ball bearings in here, but basically that's their primary purpose, I believe. And so I'm gonna tack one angle, turn it, tack another one, always so my angle's in this direction, and I'll have less chance of cutting anything around it, or marring anything. So let's see what happens. Hey guys, just to give you guys an idea of what I'm doing, so I'm cutting one side, rotating the axle, and then cutting another one. Now this should be my final cut. This is super sketchy because I have a full face shield on, so make sure you have one, because the angle of grinder is also called the wheel of death sometimes, because the blades can break and it wants to push out. It's pretty powerful. So I would suggest just dropping this off and getting it done at some shop. But if you're doing it yourself, just make sure you're properly protected, or get a 50-ton press, because I think that should have broken it. But anyways, we're still cutting away here to try and get this done. In hindsight, I think the next time around I'm going to use the Sawzall and just try and rig this up so it stays straight, because I thought leaning it and using the angle grinder would get me closer down, but it seems like it's still higher than the actual star, so I think it would be easier just to go like that. So the next one I'll try that. Right now I'm just finishing up this one and seeing how we did, if we're able to get those ball bearings out. Alright guys, so we're fully cut here. Now I'm gonna drop this out of the vise, take it to the table, and see if we can get these ball bearings out. And the other thing is I have to wipe, and now I definitely have to clean it very good, because we have a lot of metal shavings in there now. So now we got to make sure that that doesn't damage anything. So we're going to take it totally apart, clean it, and we'll also see if I have any damage anywhere from using the angle grinder, which right here I can see I nicked this a little bit, which sucks. But I'm hoping the next one with the Sawzall will be a cleaner cut, but we'll see. Alright guys, so I actually just kept it here and viced up, and I used a screwdriver and pried on the star until I was able to remove one ball. So once you get one ball out, you should be able to remove them all. And then it should, in theory, once the star comes out, be able to break apart. So there's like a particular order you have to do to get this free to spin so you can get all the balls out. So what I did was I did one side first, two, let's see here, what do I have here? Yeah, two on one side, and then it allowed me to pivot this whole thing up. So now I'm just gonna rotate it and pull these ones out now. Off camera, because the suckers are slippery now. All right guys, so all our ball bearings are out now. And you have to turn this on the side, and there's a certain orientation it has to be before you can just pull it out like that. Well, this sucks. I still can't see where the hell this goddamn clip is. So I don't know what I'm gonna do now. I gotta go back and look at the manual, which I probably should have done from the beginning, but I did not. Or I'm gonna start hammering on that with something, see if it'll drive it out. But if a 20-ton press didn't do it, I don't think that's gonna. We'll see. All right, guys. So I actually went downstairs, put this back in the press to see if it would, because I cannot see the clip, so I'm assuming it's driven in the center of that. So it has to be broken. But my press isn't doing it. So I'm gonna actually go and price out how much it is for these two pieces for both sides. And I'm just thinking about putting in new ones. Or if it's like astronomically priced, then then I might have to take it to a shop to see if they can press them out. But this, I don't even know what to say about this. They make it look so easy on some of the videos I saw, so I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong or what. But at this point, there's no turning back anyways, because the axles are cut. So we're just gonna push forward, stay the course. All right, till we speak again. All right, guys, so I was just fiddling around with this, and I got the race out of the cage here. I just twisted it around and then just started working it out a little bit, and it came out. I'm gonna try and put this in a shop press one more time like this and see if I can push this out. I'm thinking maybe because it was moving in here while I had it in the press, maybe it wasn't exerting as much force. And from what I read in one article, it said it should only take 5 tons to break this. I don't believe that, because the article that I had read, they were using a 50-ton press though in there. But I'm gonna give it one more shot and see. I did price these out for a non-Toyota. I forgot the company's name, but it was like maybe $160 or something. So I don't want to actually start doing all that nonsense. I don't know. I mean, if I have to spend the money, I have to spend the money. But that's going to be, that's going to be another big nut on this. And this long travel kit was already expensive. But we'll see. I'm going to go put it back in the press right now and see what happens. All right, guys. So I moved the rack up, and I just have the race in there now, and I'm delivering some pressure. We'll see what happens. So it actually grenaded, and this thing is perfectly fine still. Okay. Go to plan, what are we at now, E? Hey guys, so I started working on the passenger side CV axle, and right now what I'm doing is the same as the other video steps. I cleaned off the tulip a little bit, and now I'm just going to remove that C-clip so I can drive this out with a brass punch. And then the same thing we're going to tackle down here in order to separate the burr field, etc. So I don't think I'm going to film this whole thing. It's basically the same steps as the other side. So we have our C-clip out here now, and now we're going to use the brass punch to drive this off. So one thing, guys, on this second one, I decided not to go with the Sawzall, and I'm still using the angle grinder. But I'm using the same blade that I used for the first one. So the diameter of that blade has gotten smaller, and it's actually easier to cut because the blade is not wider and risking damaging the sides. So now, because it's smaller, it's actually going a little bit smoother. So maybe if you guys do attempt to do this at home, try to use a blade that's already been used so that the diameter is smaller, or even just order smaller diameter blades. I think the ones I had were 4.5 inches. Alright guys, so we're fully cut here now. So we're going to go ahead and clean this up and get it separated out just like we did the other side, to get it to the point where we can push this back out. and break that, that clip that's retaining the burr field together.